All right, so we're here for hour number 2 of Extemporadio, and just got the little the bugs worked out here. Learned a valuable lesson just now that
Don't be yanking on USB cords.
apparently the entire radio station can be disabled and brought down by one USB connection, and I'm thinking of going out to Home Depot and buying one of those plug lock boxes where you can put like an extension cord plug inside of a box that you can close that up and put a padlock on it so nobody can ever unplug the two cables.
Or duct tape.
Yeah, so it's well, I think someday they want to be able to pull that apart.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that's kind of crazy that the whole show can be brought down by one thing, and so I think that's something that these guys are so awesome here. I'm sure they will get that worked out. That or we'll just have the camera set up in such a way that nobody can accidentally put a mic stand on top of it. And when you go to move the camera, the mic stand is holding on to one end of the USB cable and just pops the baby out like that. So, but anyway, it's another beautiful summer-like evening here in Milwaukee. Stuff setting down, and so now we're getting some field information here. Yeah, now we're back in live. Thanks very much out there, listeners in Radio Land. We appreciate that. Good to know that we're back up in live. So
Cool.
Cool. So we were kind of in the middle of I don't know how much of your
My girl rant.
yeah, how much we got in the middle of your
Shady chicks rant.
Yeah, exactly. So we may have just saved you a little bit of personal derision, and but no, I think it was all. I think your points were all fair. I think it was all pretty much straight up.
Right.
That the idea that someone I gotta kind of admire her honesty to say that, I kind of like the only reason I'd want to be in a relationship is so I could cheat on the guy.
Right.
That's a fairly bold proposition to take and say, oh, this is where I guess I'm at is I'm at the stage where I'm trying to figure out ways that I can cheat or give myself reasons to cheat. Like I like disappointing someone. Boy, I tell you, there's some issues and some psychology going pretty deep.
Yeah, exactly. I think that stuff is like I'm a very when it comes to like sexuality and dating and relationships, I'm quite open. Mm-hmm. But when I hear something like that, like their enjoyment is to set somebody up, that's like a little. That's kind of I don't know. I don't want to say cross
shady. Actually,
yeah. And I'm not saying she's a bad person because she's actually got really
honest.
Yeah, she's being honest. But I'm like, wow, that's like I said, I've heard some stuff, but.
Well, it's
never that.
You think about what the person on the other end of that would be like, all right, yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for getting cheated on. Like, how messed up are they that they want to be in that position of getting sympathy because, the girl that I started dating, she told me she was going to cheat on me, and then she did. Well, and, you got what you wanted.
Well, the thing is that she's not, it's not like she's saying, I tell guys that I'm going to cheat on them. She was telling me. I'm not dating her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I wasn't saying I want you to date me. We were just having that conversation.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So she was, and I have because I talk about a lot of these conversations. I tend to bring this stuff out in people. I've worked with all these strippers. I do you know what I mean? It's like I meet a lot of people that talk about this type of stuff. So I've tend to get information from people that most don't, which is bizarre. But yeah, so she's not. It's not the idea that she's like, well, I want a guy that's gonna let me do whatever I want. It's like she wants to get a guy who doesn't have any clue and then go do her thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's. I tell you, again, we have a new. We kind of have a new imperative in this life that there's, when I was your age, and there's a decade and a half at least between us that things were just done differently.
Yeah.
And as I try to understand this paradigm that exists today, the reality that exists today, I'm constantly flummoxed by it. I'm constantly just like, how the hell does that how does that get done and go down? It just always kind of makes me crazy.
I have a theory.
Oh, God.
So
let's hear this theory.
No, it's cool. I'm glad you brought this up. I went to here's one. You know what? One thing I can't talk about. I went to BYOC. I hadn't done this in a little bit, but in Bayview, there's a salsa dancing thing every night, or every Sunday night rather.
Sunday, yep.
So I went and did that. My buddy was like, "Let's go," and I went and there's this woman there who was, I want to say, like 41, 42, fit, great looking woman. Like she's a nurse, smart, type of like you would like
has
you
it going
saw her,
on, has it together,
got it going on type of chick. I was like, she's real cool, and we were having a conversation. She told me this funny story where she's at the warehouse, and it was for. To kind of do like a pre-Mother's Day celebration because they were doing salsa dancing that night. So she's like, I brought my mom out, and her mom's like 70 apparently. Okay, so her mom, came out and hung out and staying up late, which is pretty cool for a 70-year-old mom, going out to a club. Sure, this is pretty awesome. And apparently this guy who knew her through salsa walks up to her and says, he says, he's a Mexican. I would like to be friends with you with benefits in front of her mom. And her mom just like jaw drops and eyes opening like, what the hell just happened? Because this is a 70-year-old woman. She doesn't hear stuff like that.
Right,
she's probably used to soap operas at home. Sure. And like,
absolutely.
So she hears that. And she's like, "Okay, you need to leave." She just tells dude to go away, and which once again, guys, like, don't do that. It's a bad idea. But on the same note, she started talking to me, and going, "I don't understand how this idea of generations becoming bolder and bolder and bolder." In how they communicate and sexuality and the idea of like dating kind of disappearing. And we had a monstrous conversation, and I started off with, I asked her if she read I asked her if she read a book called My Secret Garden, not the book The Secret Garden, but it's a book called My Secret Garden. It's by a woman named Nancy Friday. And this book was like, she wrote a newsletter. I don't know if it was 50s, 60s or whatever, but she wrote this newsletter to go in newspapers across America asking women to send her or to interview with her about sexual fantasies, sexual thoughts, or sexual exploits that they'd had in their lifetime. And the book is filled with stories that will blow your mind, like stuff that people talk about openly today was written in this book way back when. And this was like, the women have their place type era.
Sure,
you know
right.
What I mean?
Yep.
So
cooking, cleaning.
Yeah, that's
stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, exactly. But these women were fantasizing about crazy stuff, sex with animals. Can I see?
See what?
You say rape?
Yeah, of course.
All right,
you're just doing reportage on a book.
Okay,
absolutely.
Cool. Okay, well, stories about rape and all these like really crazy, guys hunting them down, and then some of them were like real stories. One story I remember, this book, that story in particular, really stepped in on the idea that sex is not just sex, that sex is always going to be connected to love. Yeah, that's what it's like. It squashed that idea for me because the story is basically this woman goes, her and her husband, are married for I don't know how many years, and he's got some money and bought a place in Mexico. So he's got his own spot in Mexico. And so once in a while he does business out there.
Sure. And
they go to their place in Mexico and hang out. So they go to this place in Mexico. And okay, I won't be explicit about the story, but this guy shows up at the door, knocks on the door, and says he's a salesman or whatever to come to look at the house and all kinds of stuff. And she allows him to look throughout the house. And then at some point in the story, he tells her that he's going to rape her.
Wow. And
then he tells her if she just gives in, he won't hurt her, and B, she will probably enjoy it.
Okay. Wow.
So he does what he does. Long story short,
sure.
She actually she tries to resist, but once he's doing stuff until he can see that she's enjoying it, and then he does his due. leaves. He doesn't even say a word after he's done. He just gets dressed and leaves.
Sure.
And that was it. And then she said that later on, when she would have sex with her husband, sometimes when she wasn't feeling totally into it, she would go back and fantasize about that guy.
Sure.
And that would apparently get her off. And it was that story. I remember being surprised and really like infuriated, and all these feelings kind of went through me at the same time.
Sure.
And I sat there like with this book in my hand, just like, what the hell did I just read? And a lot of the book is like that, and it's this. I feel like it's yet another veil pulled over people's eyes that women don't like sex. They want to hold hands and eat chocolates and crap all day. It's like that's not true. Kind of like how we were talking about the male review and strippers and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like women like enjoy this type of stuff, and this is stuff that the more I remember reading this really interesting blog from a guy that did pickup, and it was basically called like the Secret Club. And he says there's a secret club where men that most women know about it, and very few men know about it. And this club is one where sex is a lot more free. Where where girlfriends cheat on their boyfriends, where there's no shame in it. It was basically all this stuff that he was talking about, and the idea was that sex is still heavily repressed. That was like the main subtext, is that the sex is still heavily repressed, and people still pretend that it's like there's love conquers all, and there's no such thing as sex, and people forget that the idea of courtship is a man-made idea. We created courtship. We didn't create sex. We created courtship. We have sex, but we created courtship. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And she's like, that's a really good point, because she was telling me that there seem to be these like just really definite lines, and I'm like, yeah, there are these definite lines. But women your age still want men to 100%, or think they do. They want them to like have this like this gentleman respect, open doors, I'm very kind and stuff like that. Chivalry. Yeah. And then people maybe my generation are that the line's kind of blurred where some women are still like that and some women are very sexually open. And then I remember talking to women that are like, from as young as 18 to maybe like 24, 25. And I remember I found this out when I was going to do a bad dates video. Talk to some girls in the club, young girls. They were probably promo girls. And I was like, can you tell me stories about like some bad dates or whatever? And they're like, I don't think I've ever been on a date. I don't really date. I don't really date.
Wow.
And that's
they hang out.
They hang out.
Hang out.
They hang out.
It's all about the hangout.
Yeah, it's a good old hangout.
Hangout and hookups.
and that's. And
there's a book idea for you, ladies. Whoever can get that one out fast. Hangouts and hookups.
Too late, girls. I'm on it. She's like, you got to write on it.
There's a new ebook coming on samcaban.com.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a good one. But yeah, that's like that is completely being blurred. But she's like, she was upset about it. She's like, why? Like that doesn't make sense. It's like we're losing something. Like nobody's losing anything. People, unfortunately, we can't, people can't just look at sex and be like, this is something that we should enjoy and be open about and not be ashamed about and get upset about and freak out about.
Right.
So because of these social constructs, because I was like, when it comes to technology, we're like blasting ahead. We're like killing it,
Sure.
But when it comes to social subjects, it's like we're limping, It's like we're taking really, really tiny steps as we're still fighting, the gay marriage, which is, I got another story about that, but we're still fighting gay marriage. We're still fighting, women being open about sex. We're still fighting, people being open about what their religious beliefs and beliefs in God and beliefs, all this stuff,
Sure.
It's like we are hardly making progress, and, but I can talk to somebody like across the globe about it, no problem, which, I mean, it doesn't really piece, but that's, I think, part of the point of technology too.
Sure.
I was like, this is why all this is happening, is because we're moving to something different where we're supposed to start not blurring the lines, but totally destroying those lines where nobody feels bad about anything anymore. They shouldn't have to feel bad. There's no reason to feel bad about this stuff. I mean, give me one logical reason that like sex should be felt bad about. Give me one logical reason that parents should wait till their kids are like 16, 17 to have a slightly awkward 30-second conversation about sex with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't talk about it. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But the reason that this has happened is because we're at a breaking point and people are trying really hard in a weird way to get closer and come together and come to terms with who we are as human beings. That's my okay. So then going back to the I guess I'll just end it on this kind of goofy story. If you are gay and you want to be married, more power to you. I would highly recommend against it. I know Obama's like pulling that trigger, like, you know, I want gays to get married, and like it's cool, good for you. You know, if you want to do it, that's fine. I know that there are like certain legal reasons that people want to get married, but I heard this because right, it's legal in California, right? So my buddy Lee was telling me, he's like, well, my friend, he had some guy creeping on him, some like gay dude, and he's like, you know, he's trying to get across. He's like, dude, I'm not gay, because this guy's trying to tell him some story where he got a bunch of money. I'm like, well, he's like, how'd you get all that money? He's like, well, he got married to some guy in California. So it's two married guys. And apparently this guy had started, I don't know what kind of company. He had some company. He had like, you know, several $100,000. He was doing well. And the marriage did not last. They got divorced. And one gay guy loses half of his money. And I cracked up. I thought it was monstrously hilarious, because I'm like, this is what you guys were fighting for. All this time you were battling for what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the whole idea is that, it's an expression of love. Like, you can't express your love in any other way besides Christian marriage.
Right. I've held that the single the group most interested in gay marriage is the Trial Lawyers Association. Those are the guys. They just simply look at it as, this is a 10% increase in potential divorce cases.
Yeah.
This is just another way for them to bill. It's all about the billable hours, baby. All BH. Bring on the BH. And if you can make it so there's more people that need, and I mean, think about the specialization that's going to go into. Think about there's going to be all kinds of new legislation that needs to be created to say, oh, these records have to be sealed because society still has a problem accepting homosexuality. So all these details are going to come out in these divorce cases. So it just creates another opportunity for more secrecy in the country. But I think it's just the Trial Lawyers Association that's behind gay marriage and wants to make it happen. Gay people, I love you. I want the best for you. I want you to be happy in your life. I want people to treat you fairly and equally. I don't want your sexuality to be an issue in job-related stuff, in commerce, and that's ridiculous that it is. And we have a patriarchal society that is completely built and on that whole notion of getting married and servitude and things like that. So you're forcing a new paradigm that nobody wants to have to think about and make happen. But I wish all the best for you. Just fight for the elimination of marriage.
Oh, that's an interesting concept right there.
Marriage is... The federal government recognizes marriage in a tax code circumstance only. Marriage is more a thing that's as a Christian thing, certainly a church thing. It's a cultural thing, but it's always a religious ceremony in its highest sense. At least that's where the highest level of...
DJ Palestine is texting a call.
Oh, really? That's the highest level of interruption. So we've got a caller coming in here, and we're going to pick up the phone here on our caller. How's it going, caller? Who's this?
This is DJ Palestine. How's it going?
Hey, DJ Palestine on the air tonight here on Extemporadio, RiverWestRadio.com.
Finally.
Hey man, we're into the gay marriage talk now. It's funny that you'd call
gay
in
marriage.
right now.
Oh my God, I gotta hang up.
When do you get married? When's this going down? No, I'm so sorry, man. We still know each other.
Palestine, I love you.
I am vehemently opposed.
Why are you, okay, here's
No,
an interesting...
seriously. I'll give you my 2 cents on gay marriage. Seriously.
Do it.
Sure.
Personally, me, myself, I think marriage should be between a man and a woman. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. However, let me elaborate.
Sure.
Having said that, I don't think it's other people's business to dictate or legislate who marries who.
Isn't that how everything should be?
That's how it should be.
Once you're 18 years old and you've reached technical adulthood, I mean, obviously there's a lot of 50-year-old dudes running around that are babies, but once you've technically reached adulthood at 18, why, as a government, are we so concerned? Because we are a government of we the people, by the people.
We the people, for the people, and we have the freedom of religion.
Yeah.
So you can't use religion as an excuse like everyone wants to use the Bible to justify this. You can't do that because you can't impose one religion over another in this country.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just my 2 cents.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. But I appreciate your perspective from that. For you, the definition is such. However, you don't want to impose that definition on someone else. And I find that that to me is really the cornerstone of what America is about, is that, look, we are a melting pot. We do have Muslims here. We do have Wiccans here. We have Christians here. We have Buddhists here. There's no other country that tolerates the diversity of religion while simultaneously tearing down those institutions that make us such a great society.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know
Round
how
of
we do
applause.
it.
That's off to you, sir.
I don't know how we pull that whole thing off. I think we are the most bipolar society in the world, and that we just we say, oh yeah, diversity's great, but I hate that guy's diversity. I think it's weird, but
exactly.
But I do appreciate your point of view, because that's an inclusive point of view that I think we really need to have.
Exactly. And then just kind of building on it a little bit more, because I've been listening to talk radio. Talk radio has been a buzz with this topic.
Of course.
And, the main thing is, one, there is a separation between church and state. Okay? Two,
Sure.
The government cannot legislate what we do if it's not illegal. Meaning,
hopefully technically true.
Meaning people do what two consenting adults
Sure.
do in their bedroom is not illegal.
Correct.
So
Except
we have
in
no
17
business. We have no
states
business trying to legislate that. Absolutely none.
Yeah, except in 17 states right now. We still have 17 states that say, I think maybe it's actually down to 13 now. I think there's been some recent in the last 3
Really?
years. So
Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's still, there's still southern states and western states where, what would you say, not cohabitation, but consummation of a relationship between, they say that two aging lesbians can be committed to one another. You just can't get down there and get between the lines. You can't get into the Y of everything. You can't get down to the V and do anything about the relationship. It's okay that you live together, ladies. You just don't do anything about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, so we've got a country that's kind of built itself on trying to legislate morality and legislate the way people think about things, and we're kind of screwed up in that fashion. We like to, I don't think reality television is helping the problem at all. We like looking in on the housewives of Orange County when they're being retards and, pitching a fit because their Range Rover, isn't going to be ready in an hour from the oil change place. We like to see that breakdown. We like to get into everybody else's business and have our nose up in their thing, and that's where the separation becomes difficult. It's like, well, I watch it on TV. Why can't my government, let me be the same kind of intrusive jerk that I get to be on TV when people put themselves out there? So
Exactly.
I just try to bring it all together. I tie it up in a nice little bow. And
you just brought it around
there you
360 degrees.
Yeah, that's my job. I gotta just make it all make sense, to bring it all back to reality television. So I just think the fact that it's even being debated in 2012 is kind of a weird thing. We have an economy that is in total free fall right now.
Absolutely.
We have instability in pricing. We have decay in our the structures that we call our homes and our infrastructure for our country. And we're in no position whatsoever to deal with any of that. And we're sitting here worried about, should two gay guys be allowed to, quote unquote, get married and share benefits? We are so screwed up when that's even taking 5 seconds of our collective thought.
Exactly. It's a non-issue.
Thank you very much.
It's a complete non-issue. We're wasting time. There's other way more important things going around in this world today than that.
And I will say, unfortunately, some of my gay friends, they don't like my take on this. I said, this is exactly like Congress debating the rules of baseball and steroids, and they got involved with that, and you got these stupid hulking baseball players sitting in front of Congress in suits that none of us have ever seen a tailor make. I have never seen a T-shirt with a 22-inch neck, and why is Congress even got their no? It's a baseball game. They're paid to hit the ball over the fence. How they make that ball go over the fence is of no consequence to me. Why are you wasting my tax dollars to talk about steroids in baseball? Other than there's so much money surrounding it, that's all the politicians are interested in. Is like, hey, maybe if we pick sides on the issue of steroids in baseball, maybe you can get more money from the pharmaceutical companies, and I can get money from Major League Baseball, and I'll get some money from the players' union, and I'll show that I'm pro-union. And it's like, there's such freaking whores for any dollar that even barely floats through the atmosphere. If there's a dollar bill dropped on the ground outside of a strip club in Boise, Idaho, I guarantee there's 14 politicians trying to figure out how they can make that dollar theirs. It's just it's so ridiculous. So it's like I say, the fact that we're even talking about this is really quite annoying. That that someone didn't just say, what, they want to get married? Fine, who cares?
Exactly. My opinion is this. Gays should have just as much equal opportunity to be miserable as the rest of the population.
There you go. Like I say, that's where I was bringing it down to. I say the number one group pushing this. I would say the number one group pushing this is the Trial Lawyers Association, because they just see another market for divorce. It's just it's another group of people that they can hit up to try and clog up the court system. And that's why I don't understand why the government isn't more behind this, because I seem to remember paying a $157 fee to Iron Mountain County, Michigan, to get a marriage license there. Wouldn't you want just another freaking $5,000-$6,000 a month in marriage license fees to have people come get married in your county? I think they'd be marketing that thing. Hey, come on down to Iron Mountain, Michigan, the home of the gay marriage. Why wouldn't you want to be? Hey, we've got the Iron Mountain Springs here. You can come and
be flooded.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, why not market that
with sweat?
We can have.
And we need that. We need a boost in the economy.
There you go.
We need some money flowing.
Hey, think of all the beautiful registry gifts.
The economy.
Yeah, we just need registry gifts. We need the number one thing that couples do when they get married is they upgrade in their homes. There's another house sold. There's new homes being sold all the time.
His and his towels,
That's a whole new line of Hallmark cards.
Right. Absolutely.
I heard you're in love. Oh,
so DJ Palestine, what do you need for your new housewarming gift? What do I got to bring by? No, I'm just kidding. It's terrible.
Hey, do you know?
Man, you know what? I eat off paper plates and plastic forks.
Dude,
I hate washing dishes.
That is fabulous. Is that why I always see you at Wendy's picking up the prepackaged forks and knives? I mean,
I do.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Having a handful, because that's what I do. That's my thing. I hate washing dishes.
I hope Wendy's never changes that policy of leaving those knives and forks right out on the thing. As like my number one place to shop for cutlery. It is just awesome. It's just great. The Wendy's condiments bar.
Yeah. I'm actually on my way to Walmart right now to get some paper plates.
Nice.
You're going to get the paper plates. That's freaking awesome, man. Hey, did you hear? I don't know if you heard earlier, but we had Spade 1 in here. We had Tarim Tatum in here from Boombox Saints and One Sound Border Sound System, and so we're definitely in the DJ spin tonight. This has kind of been the bent of the show, and we just got
very
off
cool.
somehow we managed to tie gay marriage into all this today. It's kind of
I was going to wonder. It's like a weird jambalaya of topics.
It kind of is.
That's what the
a
show's
little bit
about,
of a
man.
stew going on here. It's kind of like I think they call it in the unemployment circuit. It's end of the month stew. It's where before your check arrives, it's the whatever you got left in the refrigerator you throw into the stew, and that's what you make. And maybe you got a thing of Gatorade and a little bit of Old Milwaukee, and you throw that into a pot and see if you can.
And that's what you got, huh?
That's your soup for the night. That's
Nice.
it. That is it.
Okay.
Well, thanks for calling in and checking in with us tonight. We hope to be able to bring you on for a little bit more of a formal interview some night and just have a little fun.
That would be a pleasure. I'd like to do that.
That would be awesome, man. We'd love to have you in here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the call-in of DJ Palestine. Hey, where are you playing next? Where are you going to be, man?
Tomorrow. Come on, man.
Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to be in Appleton. It's going to be a crazy weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days of partying.
Outstanding.
Past all the partying and everything, just let me just say this. Memorial Day is important to honor our veterans because, not very many people will put their lives on the line for something they believe in. So as we roll into Memorial Day weekend, let's keep that in mind, and let's party too.
Thanks for bringing everybody down, man. I appreciate that. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, no, it's really great. I'm part of a comedy group that does shows for the honor flights for the sending the veterans back to the World War II Memorial. The group we're working with right now is called the Return to Pearl, where we're sending a bunch of World War II Pearl Harbor veterans back out to the Pearl Harbor Memorial for what those guys went through. And it's kind of a cool thing. It's to me, there is no group that is more maligned and mistreated in this country than military veterans. We ask them to put their lives on the line, and then we constantly remove benefits and take away services that they should be receiving. We put them in harm's way, and then we absolutely cut them to the curb, and I think that's ridiculous. That's probably the biggest shameful thing we do. But I'm sorry, I want to just cover one more detail. We do have some friends up in the Fox Valley. Where are we going to find you in Appleton on Memorial Weekend? Luna Lounge, is that on College Avenue?
Luna Lounge is Saturday, and there's another place that just opened. I really don't know what it's called. I think it's like the Dog House or Brat House.
Okay.
But if you go to Facebook.com/DJ Palestine, that's DeeJayPalistine, that'll give you a little bit more specific information.
That's awesome. You can also find DJ Palestine connected with Sam Caban on Facebook, and you can also find some information. He put up a fabulous worst date video that he completely avoided talking at all about dates. It's a nice video where you say absolutely nothing.
Whatever. It's just to let people chat. I mean, I'm trying to keep myself out of the picture right now as much as possible, but it's fun. They're fun to watch.
It was great. I was really waiting to hear. I wanted to hear your I had this feeling it was gonna be like, yeah, this girl was following me all around one night at a club, and she was really persistent. I thought maybe I'll reward her with persistency, and we'll go out sometime and have a nice date. And then she turned out to be like a complete psychopath country music fan or something. And I never came. I never got the payoff. So I was really looking forward to it.
I know it was a little disappointing. But honestly, here's the thing. Like I was telling Sam, I don't really date. I detest dating. I haven't been on a date in probably over 10 years.
Dude, yeah, we were just talking about this, that people don't date anymore. It's more about the hang and the hookup, so we totally understand. Yeah. Totally hear what you're talking about. I could totally stand hearing about your junior high, your 8th grade dance date that you went to pick her up, and it turned out she wasn't available, so you had to take her sister, and it was so weird for you to have to show up when you're 13 with a 16-year-old, and then that was the night that she, totally made you a man. So that was really what I was hoping to see.
Well, maybe next time. Maybe I'll pull one out of the archive. Dude, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I tell you, he's onto a great thing. Sam's onto a great thing with these bad date stories. Absolutely.
Mine's are either too boring or just way over the top.
If you watched a few of the other ones, man, I think they got you beat. We'll see.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
He's got to
I'll look
peruse that
forward to that.
database, man. Figure something out. And but coming up on Memorial Weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, up in the Fox Valley. Saturday at Luna Lounge, and otherwise check him out on Facebook at DJ Palestine. That's DEGAY Palestine. You can find him there. You can find him through Sam's Connections on Facebook. Thanks so much for calling in tonight, man. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. You guys have a good night.
Yeah,
All right, you
I'm
too,
gonna
man.
hit you
Thanks
back
so
up on the
much.
cell phone too. So.
All right, man.
Okay.
All
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Well, there you go. That is DJ Palestine in with us here tonight on Extemporadio. That is that's the kind of fun stuff that just happens here. Dude's spinning away and making stuff happen here in Milwaukee and all over the state. Gets down to Chicago too from time to time. So good stuff. So we've got. We've got a president who Newsweek today called America's first gay president because
What?
so
Come
that was
on.
on the cover of Newsweek. So
Whatever.
for coming out in favor of gay marriage, and I find that interesting. That's a bit of a flip flop for the president.
Flip-flop.
Clearly,
Flip-flop.
he's
That's another keyword.
he's courting a demographic. He's courting a part of his base. At a time where he feels like he's in a somewhat compromised and unfortunate position that the policies that he thought he was going to enact that he hasn't been able to get over on, and the changes that he talked about in his campaign turned out to be logistically it's a little harder to do than just give some vague promises about change and then actually having to exact those things is kind of difficult.
That's
so
what they all do.
yeah, so it's just so now he's left to pandering to his base and being left with that circumstance of what do we got? What's going to be the thing that's cooking for us for the rest of our campaign? And so we're going to have a typical boring and disconnected electorate again. I think probably the most exciting race that's going to be happening in Wisconsin are the senatorial races. Republicans had their convention this weekend. My mic keeps popping. The Republicans had their convention up in the Fox Valley this weekend. That was kind of weird. A lot of fighting going on up there. A lot of challenging going on up there. So that's the kind of thing that happens. So we're going to be back here in just a minute. We're going to take our last break of the night, wrap things up for you. So you have and are and always shall be listening to Extemporadio on riverwestradio.com.
You gave me a pet name, which is not to say I like it. We met at a party, not to say I was invited. You said love was just a lie, but I could tell that you were lying, and we almost figured out how we'd get along. And given time, we find it strange to be alone. And you work in a hotel at the magazine concession. Back in just 5 minutes, reads the sign above your station. Slip your profits in a bag, and you're looking up to the hour hand, and we've almost figured out how we'll get along. And given time, we'll find it strange to be alone. And you just forgot your one pet name for me, and all those promises you said you'd keep. just about an hour. Strategies for hangman, cat's cradle origami. You say I'm a kid for a guy, but I can tell that you are lying, and we've almost figured out how we'll get along. And given time, we'll find it strange to be alone. And you just forgot your one pet name for me, and all those promises you said you'd keep. And it's a lucky thing, because that sentimental stuff doesn't. You just forgot your one pet name for me, and all those promises you said you'd keep. And it's a lucky thing, because that sentimental stuff doesn't suit you at all.
Hey, that's They Might Be Giants. Pet Name, one of my favorite songs. I think they wrote more songs about breaking up and relationships going bad than just about any group ever.
That's
Got
really
20
sad.
albums, and easily 40% of every album is how something went bad or how they're pining for something or whatever. But wrapping things down here on Extemporadio this week, just wanted to mention that next week on the 21st, from 8:15 to 8:45, we're welcoming in MKEFunny.com's Jason Evans is going to be with us for the ride. He is going to be doing interviews with local and national comedians, and just a great bit of stuff that he's going to be bringing to the table here. We're going to have him on the first and third Mondays every month, and I tell you, MKE Funny has just really become this force of great information and news about the Milwaukee comedy scene, and I think over the next couple of years it's going to become the place, the clearinghouse for comedy information for Wisconsin, for Milwaukee and Wisconsin. It's really going to come all the way full circle and come around. So we're going to welcome Jason back here. You got a taste of him last week, and we were very happy to have him in here for a bit of an interview session, which I gave him an awful hard time about the fact that halfway through his interview, he started interviewing Sam, which tells you he's got the true heart of an interviewer in him. He's really a sponge for information. He really soaks it up, and he really wants to get to the heart of the matter. And I just found that completely hilarious. Probably what I found more hilarious was the fact that the co-host of the radio show went right along with it and was just happy to be interviewed. And it was so fabulous what you did. That was so
It was
fabulous.
like totally at that point in time. I think you know how like I feel bad. But when you're talking and there's even you're trying to focus, but there's something else on your mind. I think that was what was in my head. I'm like, I gotta get done.
Sure.
So he talked about it, and I just puked all over.
That was beautiful.
That's
That was
bad.
fabulous.
Sorry.
No, and it's just like I say, it just goes to his skill as an interviewer. Jason's really good at making people feel really super comfortable and doing a nice interview, getting good information out there.
Curious.
That's a little Columbo-ish, yeah. But at the same time, he's just this nice, super nice guy that he wants to really bring the community, give them an equal footing and a really great forum to get their information out, and that's what we all look to MKE Funny for. It's just a really great driving force for comedy here in Milwaukee. So look forward to Jason joining the show on the first and third Mondays from 8:15 to 8:45. We're gonna, I don't know what to call it, the MKE Funny segment, or I don't know, because it doesn't fit. It's a half hour, but it's not a top of the hour. It's the bottom half of an hour. It's from 8:15 to 8:45. So if you're looking at the clock, it's the bottom half of the hour. But Jason will be in here.
Jason's bottom half.
Jason's bottom half. There we go. People are going to think that's a knock on his wife, but she's super special and super wonderful. So, maybe we got to come up with a new name. We'll have to take call. Hey, there you go. There's a caller topic. Name Jason Evans' MKE Funny segment.
Yeah, we need a name.
It's 414-935-2951 here on riverwestradio.com. You can call in and give your names for Jason Evans' show. Shout out to Mike Howarth, good friend of ours, fighting the good fight up there in Port Washington. Mike, keep swinging the bat, my friend. Hopefully get to see you back on the scene here sometime. And just really appreciate the people that are tuning in tonight, checking out the show. So we got a couple of more minutes here on River West Radio's Extemporadio. Coming up, we're going to wrap it down with that. It's a good week for weather, people. Go out and make something out of it. Get your outside work done. I'm sure we've got snow coming back sometime before June. What did you? He's not even looking. I just said that to see if the guy over on the Kindle was paying attention at all.
My bad.
So I threw out snow and it didn't even phase him. That's fabulous.
Construction.
A couple of shows coming back up. We'll be in Kewanee on June 5th and Wapaka on June 16th.
What does that land on?
It's a Friday and a Saturday. So if anybody out there knows anybody up in the northeastern part of the state, Green Bay area, Stevens Point area that has been looking for a comedy show, contact me through Facebook. We'll tag you in with a Thursday or a Sunday show that weekend. It's technically the third weekend in June, because June starts off on a Friday. I think Friday the 1st or something like that for us. Yeah, something like that. So, but we'll be in Kewanee. Myself and Nate Ford will be in Kewanee and Wapaka on June 15th and 16th. It's just a great time and a great show. So come on out if you want to see some good comedy and things like that. So we're back here next week, next Monday on Extemporadio. It's always here 7 to 9 p.m. on Mondays. Do tune in to riverwestradio.com anytime. There's shows pretty much going from 3 to 11 every day. There are some holes in the schedule where they do rebroadcast some shows. So if you get a chance to pop back in and check out those radio shows. But also, if you're looking to do some radio time yourself, they do have some open spots remaining here on the radio station. So you can get your own time on the radio if you've got something to say or you've got a specialized genre of music you want to play. We're still trying to coerce Keith Gostad to get his butt in here and get access to the jazz archives at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and plays some amazing jazz from the 40s and 50s that just doesn't get played anymore. So it all happens a publicly supported and publicly funded radio program and radio station. So you can be a part of it and you can take your swing at the bat. So this has been Extemporadio on riverwestradio.com. I'm Brendan O'Day.
I am Sam Caban.
And we'll be with you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Good night.